Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
Inspired by the life of the savvy and ambitious Colombian businesswoman Griselda Blanco comes a new Netflix original limited series. Griselda tells the story of a devoted mother who, with her lethal blend of charm and relentless savagery, creates one of the most powerful cartels in history. Witness Sofia Vergara's captivating transformation into the godmother of the underworld. Griselda, now streaming only on Netflix.
Bare naked, bare naked, bare naked, ABCs.
Welcome to the Bare Naked ABCs, where we discuss every song from 7 to Y. And tonight I have joining me Jeff and Heidi. Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
And we don't have an Aaron, which, I think he's skipping out on us because then he doesn't have to actually, tell us what album this is from.
Did you just let him off the hook?
I did. I let him off the hook for the week. Yeah. But joining us, we do have a longtime listener, Betsy. Betsy Horowitz.
Woo!
Hey.
It is wonderful that you're joining us. I really appreciate it.
Long-time listener, and she still came on the show. Wow.
I know.
That's amazing.
Betsy, how did you come to BNL? Tell us about your journey to Bare Naked Ladies.
So a college roommate of mine, Sarah, introduced me, I think my freshman year of college, so that would be 97. And she had Rock Spectac and played it a lot in the quad that we shared, and it just kind of took off running from there. I kind of had a little hiatus in the early 2000s, and I don't know why, but I was listening to other music, and but then I came back to it, and then I started going to all the concerts and everything, and went to 3 or 4 concerts, usually Southern Maine, Boston, that sort of thing. But yeah, that's kind of how I came into listening to them.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now I do have to ask, what is your favorite album?
Oh God, I'm so bad with favorite everythings. I'm very not a black and white person, so. I think it is Maroon is my favorite. That's where a lot of my favorites are. And unpopular opinion, my second favorite are the RMEs and RMNs.
Oh, so, wow. Yeah.
Am I still allowed to be on, or is that okay?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So, it's not like you said grinning streak or anything.
Boy,
I'm kidding. Yes,
now, Silver Ball, we might have problems all of a sudden.
If I said Silver Ball, I know it would be off. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. All of a sudden, Zoom might go bad if you said Silver Ball.
We got a bad connection over here.
That's not true. Eric, we still let Eric come on. I don't know why, but
where does he stand on Silver Ball?
He loves Silver Ball, which is why he's always here to defend it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I think I'm going to be standing next to him defending it. I like it too, but for different reasons.
Well, what are your reasons?
Okay, so it's kind of an association thing. So some of the songs, when my daughter was 2 or 3, we'd play music videos, and the Silver Ball one, and what was the other one? There's another one. Navigate were her favorite.
Mm-hmm.
So we would play the music video of that, and she would dance a lot to it, and we'd sing a lot to it. So that kind of entrenched into me a little, and then I had that positive association. So it's not like I just listened to the album and thought, oh, this is the best thing I've ever listened to. I just kind of had something else pleasant, coincide with it. So
we've talked about that before, though, and I've had that conversation with people about music and movies as well. And because I'm a big movie and music fan, and people want to get, and I watch a lot of like reviewers and stuff, and they always want to come at it with this like arbitrary criteria for what makes a good song. And which I get that, but like you said, I definitely defend if you have an emotional attachment. Music is emotional. If you have an emotional attachment to a song, it's a good song to you, no matter what anybody else might think.
Yeah.
So I get that. I get that.
Yeah, Tracy. No matter what you say.
Okay. We'll let her off the hook.
Oh, tie it all up together.
Speaking of which, is this week's song off from Maroon,
aka the best song ever made in the history of songs.
Pretty much, yeah, probably the best song ever. We've been waiting for this one for a while.
Yeah, I have three people on with me that are going to have some strong opinions tonight, so it might be an interesting discussion. But if you've never heard this song before, here is a quick.
Heard while you were sleeping, left you shaking while he stirred. You awaken, you will make him eat his words right off the
No,
you didn't do it justice. You didn't do the song justice. You just need to play the whole thing.
Right.
I was gonna say, like, I'm only allowed a 30-second snippet. How do I do this song? Justice
how do you
with a 30-second snippet?
What do you pick from this song to play? That would be tough. There's so many great moments in this song. I've actually, when I was listening to it again, because this is one of the first times in a while I haven't had to listen to a song for the show. Like, I didn't have to refresh myself because it's off the hook. I mean, this is the one that made me a fan for the most part. But listening to it again, I'm like, there are just so many lines and moments in this song. I could not pick just one.
It's kind of like Lay's potato chips.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well,
pretty much.
Let's get to the complexity of the song. Heidi, will you give us a breakdown?
Yeah, time for
the
a breakdown.
Heidi breakdown. Okay, so
I love the fact that I have that recorded and I can put that in every week, but you just do it anyway.
I do it anyway. I know.
Gotta be fresh.
So Off the Hook, written by Page and Robertson. It's in G major, about 131 beats per minute, just over 4 minutes and 30 seconds long, from the album Maroon. It is in 4/4 time. I love that Ed once quoted as saying that it was kind of like an 80s German dance pop. Which actually makes sense now with the opening keyboard track, and Tyler is playing like a synth drums through this. But the form of the piece is verse 1, verse 2, chorus, verse 3, chorus with a new ending to that chorus and an outro. The chord progression is very interesting because it is a very odd chord progression. It's in G, so it goes G to E minor 7, so that's a 1 chord, to a minor 6 with a 7th. So when you have a 7th, so you have 7 notes in a scale, right? And then the tonic, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. In the key of G, it would be G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. So that means that they've added in the E minor 7 an E, G, B with a C, B, with an F sharp in it. So it's a E minor 7 chord. Then it goes to a minor 3 chord to a B minor. And then it continues through that until the end of the verse but he was only wanting you to let him off the hook. That part is interesting because it goes into a minor 3 to an A7 sus 4. And what that means is
I heard
that
the sus word.
Yeah. Instead of having your traditional triad has the first degree of the scale, the third degree of the scale, and the fifth degree of the scale. In a sus 4, you're getting the 5th degree of the scale, the 4th degree of the scale, and in this case, the 5th degree of the scale and the 7th degree of the scale, because you've got an A7 sus4 chord. So it's a 2-7 sus4 chord. Then it goes to a 1 chord, but the bass is on the root. So it's an inverted chord, a G. So you're have a 1 chord with the B on the bass, a 1 chord with the F sharp on the bass, and then a 1 to a 6-7 to a 3, again, a minor 3 chord. In the chorus, it changes slightly. We get a 1, a 6, minor 6-7, which means it's a 7th chord, but it's a minor, never mind. Theory folks will know what I'm saying. Aaron will get it. Then a D major chord with a sus4. So once again, instead of a root 3rd 5th, we have a root 4th 5th. And then a C chord, so a 4 chord. So it goes 1, minor 6, major 5 sus4, 4 sus2. So in this case, we've got a 2 sus chord. So very interesting chord stuff. But it's reused a lot. So they just keep repeating these progressions throughout, but very interesting chord structure for a pretty simple song, but a lot going on, which is another reason why it is one of the greatest songs ever written. And that's the Heidi breakdown.
Yeah,
so it goes, let him off the hook. So it's a B minor and A7 sus4.
Right. Okay.
And then a G with a B on the root. And then a G with an F sharp on the root. And then a G to an E minor 7 to a B minor.
Yeah.
So it's really fun. For theory folks, this is a super fun song. I'd love to.
Ultimate Guitar only has 1 tab for this one, and it is way off. It has A for let. I'm like, that's not right. No. No.
Oh, no. That's just wrong. There's a lot. Well, granted, if you're a guitarist that's sniffing glue just trying to put tab up, you got to really dig into this a little bit deeper. So looking at the sheet music is the best bet, which is what I did, because the sheet music is available for this particular song, which is great. So that's my breakdown.
So complicated for something that sounds as simple as it is.
It is. Ed's got some major awesome work on rhythmic guitar here.
Yeah, like he's playing something that's slightly different than it sounds. Mm-hmm. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Lots of really fun stuff.
And you were mentioning that Tyler is doing electric drums. He actually uses an 808 drum on this.
Yeah.
Which, if I didn't know what an 808 drum was before and had to actually go and look it up. Would you like to tell people a little bit about the 808 drum?
Why don't you? Well, it's like it's a Roland mixer looking thing, which it looks like a mini mixer or with a Dr. Beat. Basically, it's a machine that looks like what a lot of people would now use on a computer program. So if you were using something like, I'm just thinking like calling out anything like Audacity. No, I'm not Audacity. Sugar on a Stick.
Like Guitar Band.
Yeah, any one of those, Garage Band, any of those kind of mixing kind of software pieces. It looks like that, but it's in the real version before that kind of technology existed. So if you're looking at it, you can see that it breaks down the rhythm like whole note, like it's got colors and it's a rhythm composition piece, like thing. So it's really neat. It was popular before. The technology was popular for computers to do it. So
it was killing me. I couldn't think of it.
Yeah, digital. Yeah, thank you. DAW. Digital audio workstations. So yeah.
And it was really big in the 80s. Like a lot of 80s music like to use it. Like if you want to hear like what it would normally sound like, think of Sexual Healing. Think of I Want to Dance with Somebody. Like those are tunes that like a lot of Madonna's stuff would use a lot of 808 kind of beat background.
It was one of the earliest like programmable drum loop track devices that could be used. So very much, and it was ahead of its time, way ahead of its time when it came out. So, around 1980 or so. So that's why in the early to mid 80s, we started hearing a lot of these kinds of synth drum effects that were used. And one of my favorite movies of all time uses a completely synthesized, digital track by us. Let's see who did it. Oh shoot, it'll come to me. But the movie is Better Off Dead, directed by Savage Steve Holland. But most of that was all synthesized, and I believe an 808 was probably used at that point too. Lots of our synthesized film scores were definitely using this kinds of equipment.
And like you said, it really has that 80s kind of feel. So it works.
Which works for the German 80s pop. So.
Normally, I wouldn't go for synth. I wouldn't go for electronica. I wouldn't go for like the electronic drum beat. It really kind of works with this song because that's the vibe they're going for. But you can definitely tell this was a Don Was production. Like, it is a very highly produced piece of music.
There's a great YouTube called Building the Beat, which is inside the legendary 808 tracks, which is really great. I'll send you the link because it's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, and I'll put that right into the liner notes.
It was Rupert Hine, by the way, who did this.
Rupert Hine, thank you. Yes. Who also did some of the music for it.
Yeah.
He did like a lot of, not just Skiing the K-12, which is one of the longer synth tracks, but thank Rupert Hine. Also did Arrested by You, which was the main love theme with Monique and Lane Meyer. So if you haven't seen Better Off Dead, greatest movie ever made. I'm sorry, John Cusack, that you hate it so much. But
does he? I didn't know that.
He really does.
Really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah. I think it's because it was one of his first films. It was not very serious, but it's such a cult classic, that and One Crazy Summer, which are two of my favorite movies of all time.
You did two Savage movies. That's
two Savage movies. But for some reason, he doesn't like to talk about it. Maybe it's because I want my $2 kind of came over. But anyway, away from Rupert Hine and synth music and 808 drum machines, but
I do want to bring up there is a lot of percussion on this, but not by Tyler. Like Tyler does a drum kit and does the 808, but we have Tiny who does the maracas. Tiny is Rob Mangione. And then we have Ed, who's on tambourine and cabasa. Not kielbasa, cabasa. But
and a cabasa, that's so funny. If you don't know what a cabasa is, as a high school band director, I used the cabasa many times. I've also loved kielbasa, but that's something different. So a cabasa is a very lovely instrument. It's got a handle and it's a round, and it has these metal balls that are strung around it. So when you you can play it by rubbing, like rubbing the balls against the metal inside. Boy, that thank God Stefan's not here. Yeah. And it goes. That's generally how it sounds. Most of the time, you can shake it. There are other ways to play it, but generally, you really want to control the rhythm of these balls going across the round. Anyway, we're cool
all seven here.
I'll keep it together if you keep it together, but I don't know.
But it's a super fun instrument.
We have it.
Side note, for my next album, because I'm Polish, I'm going to play all the percussion with just kielbasas on snare drums.
With kielbasas on snare drums.
Kielbasas.
Nice.
And we're just going to play the snare drums with kielbasas.
That would actually be a very interesting sound.
I think it would.
Could be. Depending on how floppy your kielbasa is. Or thick your kielbasa is.
Does that make them bangers then? If they're sausages?
Oh, it's a banger.
Oh, bangers and mash.
Bangers and mash?
that snare drum is going to look like mash afterwards.
And it's a banger. I love a good double, triple, quadruple meeting.
Floppy Kielbasa is my new band name.
Ooh. Can that be your stage
Floppy Kielbasas.
That's my new band name.
Jeff Whitmire and the Floppy Kielbasa. Oh, no. Jeff Whitmire in his
there you go.
Yeah.
Floppy Kielbasa.
Hello, Cleveland. Are you ready to whack?
Oh God!
Lappy kielbasa.
At the end of the night, you throw out your sausage to the audience.
Yeah, that's her gimmick.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Kielbasa.
Don't be.
So it sounds
So
like
I-
any other rock group there.
Yeah. Just another Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Stop throwing your sausage.
Sausages for everyone.
What a sausage fest.
Oh.
Well,
Betsy.
welcome to the show, Betsy.
Hey. I think I found my crowd.
Betsy, do you have any things that you would like to add about the music?
I'm in my wheelhouse. That's all I'd like to add right now. Let's see. The music. Well, I'm not a musician, so I can't break it down into minors and majors and sustained chords, but
Speak language
I-
I know, Betsy. You can speak language I know.
pedestrian English, I guess. So I did you guys know that this song was on the movie Sweet November? Have you heard of that?
Yes.
Yes,
Did you?
But it didn't fit at all.
No, did it not? It did not fit. It maybe fit like the beginning part.
They're walking these giant poodles on the beach, and
But it had Keanu Reeves in it, so I just sacrificed my spare time for you guys. I watched Keanu Reeves. It was rough, but I got through it.
no, I love Keanu.
No, I know. That was sarcasm.
He's such a good human.
I really love him, so I really did not mind watching this movie. So it was in this movie, Sweet November. It kind of matched up in the beginning, but not towards the end. Anyway.
Yeah, like the theme of this song does not go with the theme of what Sweet November is about, especially the scene that they connected.
Right, definitely not the scene they connect it with. And in the beginning, when he had his previous girlfriend, maybe it applied there, but it didn't apply to what like the movie was becoming. But it still got airtime, so I mean, it's never a bad thing for them.
I think this song is like the Oscars. They always give the Oscar to an actor, a film late. So they always give it to them for an action, like the film after when they really deserved it. This song really belonged in the other Keanu Reeves, Charlize Theron movie.
The Devil's Advocate.
Which is Devil's Advocate. That would have fit perfectly. Unfortunately, it wasn't written at that point, but like that... This song would have gone perfectly with that.
That
Like,
movie was messed up.
Yeah.
So
which is why I loved it.
you're messed up.
Oh yeah, I don't have a ton of notes in terms of the music of this song because it comes across as simple. It sounds like it's just drums and synth, but there is piano, there is the other percussion instruments in the background, there is electronic guitar and electronic bass, but it does just come across as a very simple sound.
Well, at first I thought it almost sounded a little bit like not elevator music, but like one level above in terms of like the beat of it, you know, just kind of like background, like music. And then I don't know, it definitely built up from there. So.
Especially once we get to the chorus. The chorus feels like an actual rock song at that point.
There's some unique stuff going on the channels, though. But like if you got the headphones on, there's definitely some unique stuff. Like on the after the first verse happens, the second verse kicks in before the chorus. Like Heidi broke it down. This one's not necessarily a standard structured song. It's got your verse 1, 2, chorus, verse 3, chorus, and then it's just instrumental outro, which is not unusual, but that's not your typical pop structure. But the synth groove at the beginning, I agree with you. It's an odd choice to start the song. I think if I didn't know and love the song as much as I do, looking back now, I don't know what my first impressions were. But once the song gets going, because there's a dark edge to this song that I love. There's some cool stuff happening. When the second verse kicks in, that's when the brushes and a second guitar sounds like it comes in. Mm-hmm. You get the brushes and the second guitar on the chorus, and then on the second chorus, there's actually that electric guitar riff that comes up in the left channel. that kind of adds to it. So each chorus is a little bit different. So they are constantly adding little stuff to it as it builds up, which I do love about the song. So it never stays stagnant. It does constantly add things. Very B&L in that way.
But I didn't realize it until you guys were bringing it. There's no bridge.
No, there's no bridge.
No.
Yeah.
It's
No bridge.
Second chorus, outro.
And it's
Yeah.
verse, chorus. So
Yeah, verse, chorus, outro. Yeah. Which, I mean, there's lots of songs that do that. I mean, that's probably the second, I would say, most common song structure outside of verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus. You know, that structure.
But B&L usually has a bridge. So that's interesting.
Usually, yeah. And that's another reason I like this song. I like that they didn't do what you expected them to. I mean, I've always said a song should end where you want it to end. Once you've said what you want to say, go ahead and end your song, because it feels like a slower song. There's a lot of stuff unpacked in those first. They do so much lyrically in those two verses. I don't think they had to do anything else. I think they got what they needed out of it.
Which is funny. You said that it feels like a slower song, but it's 143 beats a minute. You said, Heidi?
I was surprised when she said the BPM.
About 100 and around 134.
Yeah, it feels slower than that to me, but yeah. But you have the at the beginning, so that's where you can hear the beats. But
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's about right.
But it does feel
when
slow.
the synths are going at the beginning, it does feel because they are moving fast. But when the verse kicks in, all around the room, the things, it gets very smooth and mellow, and I think that's where it feels like it might be slower. But,
well, and I think that's like it's Steven holding those notes, and because he's holding those notes longer, it does feel slower, but it's not.
Speaking of which, I love this is definitely one of those times where Steve's vocals just shine. Like his vocals in this song, I think are exquisite, and he never has. It's not one. He's not doing "Break Your Heart." He's not going up into that register. He's not soaring. He stays pretty much in the same area, but it works for what he's saying.
Although that chorus, like he goes from lower to then that chorus, he jumps up and powers that chorus.
Something that you,
So I feel like this song in Steve's vocal way actually brings you on a roller coaster ride because of the, and I think the backup singing also does that as well.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of, there's not a whole lot of backup in this, but it's mostly on the choruses. Yeah. But there again, it works for that.
Why don't we get to what this song is about, though?
Thank you, Heidi.
I think that's where most of the discussion will probably occur tonight, is what this song is about. Why don't we?
This is the next. This will be the next 2 hours of the podcast for anyone. Just brace yourself, people.
I want to start with Betsy because unfortunately, I get the feeling that Betsy is here for the discussion about what this song is about, and I want to give her the spotlight here on this.
Not a spotlight. Okay, well, I can write down the notes I scribbled down, or read off the notes I scribbled down. But yeah, I thought it was there's a couple of different versions. There's the one from Ships and Dip. There's the studio one. There's another more basic kind of version, but I like the studio one the best. But I mean, it's a dysfunctional relationship on the surface of it to me. That seems like because they are a married couple according to the lyrics, like because they had pictures of their honeymoon, things like that. But it seems like there's just a lot of infidelity, and she sticks around for a while. A little bit reminiscent of Light Up My Room in that sense of like, I'm not totally happy here, but it's what I know, so I'm gonna stick around. So even though I feel that it's not the healthiest thing, I'm still sticking with it, kind of deal. And what else did I put? 'Cause I don't know. I repeat myself a lot. Oh yeah, kind of reminiscent of Call and Answer too, where he likes to ask for forgiveness rather than permission, that sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's what I'll kick it off with, and I do better if you guys like chime in, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I never thought of it that way, and I'll say something else, I guess.
Okay, we'll do that. Who would like to start then? I have two other people that love this
Cede
song.
the floor to Jeffrey first.
Okay.
We started to go down a rabbit hole last week with this, so I'm like trying to hold back.
First and foremost, if I haven't sold this enough, I don't know how much gets in there from the previous ones. This is hands down probably my favorite BNL song, if not one of my favorite BNL songs. And the reason is the lyrics. The lyrics of this song, I think, are stellar. They are phenomenal. That rhyme scheme alone that Stephen had used in this one. The first stanza sets it. All around the room, your things are placed. Next to you, he fills the space. So there's already a double rhyme going on right there with room and you, and then space place. Seems your saving grace is only saving face. So it happens. The second verse really cranks it up a notch. Then something bends, then it breaks. Your worst mistake. Accepting enemies on bended knees, a litany of tragedies. You're vexed, it seems you're hexed. The rhyme scheme in this is just so perfect. It never sits in one spot. It changes all the time. And as soon as it changes, they're right on top of it. It feels like every word was perfectly chosen in this song.
I love that in that second verse, they like you had said, they change up the rhyme scheme, but now it's 4 rhymes within one line.
Right.
Accepting enemies on bended knees, a litany of tragedies.
Right.
Like boom, 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 boom.
In a sense, it reminds me of a rap verse. It reminds me of a good flowing, like a rap drop there.
And to make
it starts out with
rhyme with bended knees,
and then a litany of tragedies, bended knees, enemies, litany, tragedies. Like it's just nothing sounds off in this song. And what he does so well is sometimes when you're trying so hard to make a line work lyrically that perfect, semantically that perfect, you might lose the emotion of the song. The emotion of this song never drops from beginning to end. That section, he was your imaginary friend. Yeah, go ahead.
Like the line you said, you're vexed, it seems you're hexed, and after sex comes the best rhyme. He expects.
He expects.
And then back to rhyme with all of those is just like boom. Like anything X would have worked there, but expects works amazingly well. It's almost like a double rhyme within the same word.
And it's like, hard to know. Every time I listen to the song, it's hard to know what to appreciate because I write lyrics, so I'm always loving the lyrics. But like that line, every line of the song is putting you right into this character's head. This person's head who knows they're being cheated on, who knows they're giving, like Betsy said, who knows they're sticking it out and giving the chances all the time. And I'll get to it because my favorite line of all time is coming up. But so it's always kind of right there. And then Off the Hook, what I think is brilliant about the song is Off the Hook has 3 meanings in this song. There are 3 meanings to Off the Hook. It's the fishing line, it's the phone line, and it's so you have the fishing line, so he's on the hook, he knows he's caught. The phone stays off the hook, ultimately becomes the catharsis at the end of the song because that's where it tells you that she did get away. I mean, at least in my interpretation, at the end, she finally does break away. The phone stays off the hook from now on. We're gonna have a disagreement on that, but okay.
By the way, I'm going to interrupt you right there. By the way, for our really, really younger people that listen to this, they wouldn't know what Off the Hook means.
That's true. So it's a dated song.
That's a good point.
So this song is dated in that way. So in the past, when you literally had phones that were on the wall and they had a hook that you would put the phone on, you would take, if you took the phone off the hook, it would only create a busy signal, meaning that you were unavailable. You could not
be called, right.
You couldn't be called. You are not around. You were no longer available, meaning it was off the hook. Thus, the use of it in that way. But of course, nowadays there's answering, there's caller ID, there like all of that stuff, and answering machines, which kind of negates that point of the song. But in the past, that would have made a lot more sense.
Right.
But go ahead, Jeff.
But I get to your point. That in that sense, the song now is kind of dated if you're not familiar with that. I mean, it just seems, like if you grew up in that time period, you get that. So I do feel this is a woman who's staring at the husband, knowing, or a male, or staring at their partner, knowing that this person is cheating, that they're unfaithful, and every night they say, I've given so many chances, but tomorrow that's it. I think they make the break, but I think someone might disagree with me here, so I'm looking forward to hearing that. So I want to get Heidi on this too, but I will say the other reason is this song single-handedly has probably one of my favorite lines, which is, he could get away with murder one and you would clean the smoking gun. Like, that to me is one of the greatest lines of all time, because it just says so much in that line. It just hits the cadence of the line, and what it basically is that every time he makes a mistake, you're basically going to clean up the mess after him, or that's what she's done in the past, because that's how dysfunctional things have gotten, or that's how emotionally complicated things have gotten. So yeah, I mean, I could go on forever. I'm going to stop now, but that's I just love the lyrics of this song so much for all those reasons. Not really a mic drop moment after that. All that was it.
Counterpoint, Heidi.
No, not really much counterpoint at all.
I disagree with everything Jeff said.
The whole reason for me initially joining this podcast all those few months ago was because of the female voice, and I am mesmerized and impressed thoroughly at Stephen's delving into the female psyche on this one, because it really is. I've been through a pretty horrible first marriage. And there's so much in here that speaks to how a woman feels. And I love that, because the whole idea of he wants you to let him off the hook, but there's so much in here that just tells me at the end she's not gonna leave. She says she's gonna do it, but she's not. And that's where I think I differ with you, Jeff, because it's like that. I love his use of then something bends and then it breaks, accepting enemies on bended knees, a litany of tragedies. That whole verse is so well done. And once again, oh, well, yeah, I messed up, but we're going to do it. We're going to make up, and you're going to let me off the hook again, because I've got you right where I want you.
Paints the other person as such a narcissist.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter what I do. You're always going to let me off the hook. Yeah.
My favorite line ever from this song is, something that you heard while you were sleeping left you shaken while he stirred. When you awaken, you will make him eat his words right off the hook and line every time. Which is, again, she's gone to bed. They've had sex again. She's like, nope, not this time. She's laying awake on her side. He's out like a light. He's all satiated and fine and happy. She probably didn't get off the hook. Didn't get off. And she's laying there going, that's it. This is the last time. I'm done. Yeah. I found the lipstick on his collar. I smelled the perfume on his shirt. I'm doing his laundry for him in his underwear that I know he just dropped after, he probably just got out of bed with her, and then he gets into bed with me. And this is done. It's done. It's done. And when I get up tomorrow morning, that's it. I'm going to pack my suitcase and I'm going to go. And then...
By the way,
she's just laying there ruminating. Sorry, Tracy.
No. Most disgusting line in this song: the credit card receipts, the dirty sheets. I'm like, whoa, ew! Why are you leaving the dirty sheets on the bed?
But yeah, well, what's she gonna do? Come home after he's had his other there and go, oh well, why'd you change the sheets? What? No man would do the sheets. It's not gonna happen.
I love that line though, because it really, that adds the darkness to the song, and it's so descriptive. It's really, yeah.
But again, again, like this verse, all of those things, he's got a reason for everyone.
Yeah,
and she buys it hook, line, and sinker every single time.
A litany of
the
tragedies,
credit.
yeah.
No, that was my secretary. I got flowers for because her dad died. The sheets. No, I spilled stuff all over them. All of that stuff. And like she says, I put this in her voice. She says, it all makes sense. And you want to believe him. And like Jeff said, he could get away with murder one and you'd clean the smoking gun. Like he could do anything and you'd be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, no, he would never. He would never. And like, I must be crazy. And men sometimes will make you feel like you're crazy because are you insane? I'm not having an affair. Are you insane? But this is right here. What? It's about Off the Hook, honey. I'm not talking about us, baby. I love you. With every crime, you bought each line, but not this time. And again, she's ruminating. Not this time. I'm going to change it tomorrow.
I fixed him.
And I'm going to fix him. We're married. Obviously, we can make this work. It's so hard to leave this relationship. But she's like, nope, this time. And then he called her name while he's sleeping right there. He calls out her name, which is another reason my husband only marries Heidi's. I should be concerned. I'm the second Heidi. But
was that his favorite book as a child?
Yeah.
No, I don't know if he ever read the book. But she's like, I'm going to but I will guarantee if there were another like part 2, she's still there. I don't think she leaves him. Like when she's like, I'm just going to leave the hook off. She might ignore his texts for a little bit, or she might leave it off, but then he's going to come back and beg and be like, I'm so sorry. I was so stupid. I love you. No, nothing. It meant nothing. It meant nothing.
Something very flag about that. Something very the flag.
Yeah,
down.
exactly.
That line,
so I don't think she leaves him.
That words
Doesn't
while
matter.
he's alone because you won't be around.
Yeah, because you say that. You're like calling your bestie and you're like, nope, I'm done. I'm like packed my bag. And then the next morning you will unpack that bag because you're just like, I don't buy it. This is why you need a woman, Tracy. Like Betsy, come on. You gotta give me that. Like she's not leaving him. Not yet. She says she's going to leave him, but I don't buy it.
I was one way before I talked to you guys, and now I'm waffling because
that happens a lot, actually.
I can understand both of your viewpoints because I want her to leave. So I guess that's kind of why I thought, I want that for her. But
you want to be hopeful, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But he leaves you on hook and line every time, which tells you she's going to buy it again.
And I think I wrote down something about like the way it ends. It keeps repeating the line, just like a cycle would repeat, and also, the ending chords have like this feeling of uncertainty and like things aren't resolved. So
I can see that. Yeah. I can see it.
But I feel the same way at the end of this one that I do at the end of the flag. That he leaves it open, but at the same time, like he said at the end of the flag. No, she leaves. Like she leaves off. And I feel like that is a journey that we're seeing in this song. So one of the things I noted about this song is that we have different meanings of off the hook throughout this song, different than what you were saying, Jeff. The first and second time that they say off the hook, he's saying that she's going to let him get away with it. He's off the hook for his transgressions. Right. Off the hook the third time means that he's been caught because she catches him with the hook, like a hook off the hook in his mouth, with like catching a fish.
Make him eat his words like the worm on a hook.
And then the last time, his last off the hook is that she's letting him off the hook out of the relationship. And also leaving the phone off the hook because she's done with the relationship. She's letting him off the hook and that he's gone.
I could see that, but I still think again.
I see your point.
I don't know.
I always thought it was certainty at the end. because you won't be around when you awaken. You will make him eat his words because you won't be around from now on. Like it sounds like certainty. Betsy said something that has me now wavering because that ending does the way that that's fine. That's why we do that. The way they do the hook and line every time repeated does kind of throw back to the litany of tragedies. Like it's just going to keep repeating every time, So I can see that the way it ends leaves that uncertainty.
But I think that's like a lot of music where you can, like we were talking about before, kind of inject your own experiences and your own like life into it. And so I don't think there's necessarily a right or a wrong. I think it's just open to whoever's listening to it. And I think I don't know. I think that's probably what they want us to think too. I think they want, like Bare Naked Ladies want us to just kind of feel it for ourselves. And if we resonate with it, great. And if we don't, then, that's okay too. But yeah, I think it's not a right or a wrong or a black or a white, which is where I usually end up, is somewhere in the gray. But I think it's, I think it's just up to the listener.
I've noticed a lot of times when I've had a chance to talk to songwriters, and Andy Cregan kind of did this when we talked to him too. A lot of people, when you try and ask them what your song means, they'll be the first to say whatever you thought it meant. Yeah. Whatever it meant to you, that's what it meant.
Slippery answer. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I intended. Whatever you got out of it, that's what it meant.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Some statistics here.
Oh, wow.
Husbands who cheated are more likely than female cheaters to remain married.
Say it again.
Of those, husbands who cheated are more likely than female cheaters to remain married. So it would be likely that the male in this song would be likely to again say, no, honey, I don't, because you want that. I mean, the pictures of the two of you, like that picture perfect thing, would be important to the male narrator of this, or male in the story of the song.
Wait, so marriages where the woman cheats are more likely to end because of the cheating than marriages where men. Okay.
Which is either means the woman is ready to leave and that's why she's cheating, and that is a sign of that, or that the man is more likely to be like, I can't take this, and kind of ends it.
I'm starting to think we need a Heidi's husband perspective on this episode.
Of those, my husband want your perspective, honey. Of those husbands who have previously been unfaithful to their spouses, 61% are still married. 34% are no longer together. Husbands tend to survive their infidelity with their marriage intact more so than wives. And Randy's comment was, yep.
Yeah, I heard that.
I think historically, not to get too serious, but I think historically it was more socially acceptable. Like if you,
one study,
like if you look back through time, it was viewed as less problematic for a husband to cheat than it was for a woman to cheat.
Definitely.
Like going all the way back to the Bible. If you look at like
that 20%, about 21% of men cheat. Women cheat at a lower rate of about 13%.
I will bring up some stats on my own here. That this song was only played 36 times in concert, and almost all of them were during the Maroon tour or the tour just afterwards, and then they stopped playing it, and definitively stopped playing it after Steve left, which makes me wonder if this is a Steve-inspired song.
Oh, this is a Steve song.
This is a Steve song. As a Paige Robertson, but
as much as I love this song, I can see that because it's not exactly the feel-good dance hit that you're gonna jam out to at the concert.
Woo! What? Cheating song!
Experiment dance party. Yeah. Yep.
From now on.
I want to go back to something that you had said, Heidi, that I had taken one of those lines that differently than you had always said. You were bringing up that the souvenirs of men who cheat, it all makes sense with each offense, that it was the female voice saying it all makes sense with each offense. All these things that he's saying make sense. Because this song is written in the second person, so an outside person talking to the woman in the relationship. Because of that, I always took that line to mean that the narrator of the song says that that the woman making sense of all this stuff actually makes sense. That her wanting to believe him makes sense. That she keeps making these excuses for him makes sense.
Which goes along with the cleaning the smoking gun. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, and that's what I was saying with that too. That's exactly what I was trying to say is all of those things make sense. Like, okay. So that's why the sheets are dirty, or that's why the credit card receipts are for these things. But I can also see the other side too, that all of a sudden she's racking up the points like, okay, point 1, strike 2, strike 3. So it could have a double meaning there.
I swear to God, if he does this one more time.
Yep, one more time.
But
that'll be the straw.
I give him 5 more chances and then I'm out.
But that actually gives me hope that she is out of this relationship, though, because not only at this point is it just her believing this is a conversation between her and a friend. A friend is talking to her about this, is supporting her, it is trying to break her out of this denial, and is saying, but not this time. I'm going to be here to support you. You're going to make him eat his words. Like the friend is trying to break her out of that denial with that, you would clean the smoking gun. Like, this is how far it's gotten, like, and pulling her out of it. I have hope for her that this is going to break that.
I've got videotape. No, it wasn't me. Totally.
I see that, but I see the song
Saw you
more
kissing on the counter. It wasn't me. It's totally that. Wasn't me. Yeah, I got the video, dude. You're right there.
Right. I hear the song more as an internal monologue that she's having in her head, honestly. She's talking to herself. Something that you heard when you like when you awaken, you will make it. Like, I hear it as an internal monologue, which is why I'm going along now. I can hear the uncertainty at the end. Like, I'm saying it tonight. You know, we things always feel different at night than they do during the day. I think we've talked about that on the show. But when you're lying in bed at night, things always seem different than when the sun comes up in the morning, and your attitude about everything changes. So this come morning, it's over. I think, is how I feel that ending kind of is going.
Well, it could be that omniscient narrator, speaking, like talking from above, kind of narrating what's going on, not talking directly to the person. But I've always heard it as a friend talking to a friend about it.
Heard it from a friend who heard another cheating song.
Hey. That connects, yeah.
The other thing,
6 degrees of infidelity.
The other line that I think is really interesting is, he was your imaginary friend. So I
love that line.
It paints this wonderful picture of, like, for me, that's always meant, like, so here's this person that you thought he was, but he's not that person. He's an imaginary friend.
You thought he was your friend. You thought he was your partner.
You just got through the first layer, and now you're seeing the second layer of somebody else. And
which in those
he
3
was
words,
your imaginary friend.
Yeah, like in those 4 words, they painted a picture of this exact moment in that frame of mind.
Those lines are past tense too. He was your imaginary friend. You were partners till the end. Those lines are past tense too, as if this is a conclusion of something. Either just everything's changed and that's just where it goes, or it's the end. It's the end of the relationship. It confirms the ending stuff. So again, however it's, I can't believe though that we have not yet mentioned the awesome twist on the James Bond line. Heidi said it, but we have to say it's a James Bond reference. In a way,
shaken not stirred.
Which they do such a cool twist on. Left you shaken while he stirred. I love that.
Yeah. Oh, and that brings up one of the things that I actually wrote down was that line about sleeping. I love the double meaning of, like, you were sleeping, meaning literally sleeping, but also in a lot of way kind of sleepwalking through the relationship and sleepwalking through life. Like, that's interesting double meaning that he's throwing in there. The other note that I have is the first paragraph, the first verse paints this really interesting picture of a relationship. He feels the space. So it made me wonder at the very beginning, like, is this because like she's so overpowering and she just takes up all the space and he isn't really there, or he's not there and so she's filling space. But then that next line kind of fills out that picture of like that the saving grace is an attempt to save face. She's filling the space to try to refuse that he refuses to fill because he's not really there.
Well, and you're still trying to put on the facade that you see in the pictures, because I think the first verse is really a setup to show that things weren't always bad. At one point, you thought things were great. You were on honeymoon, which I like. I like the use of holiday and honeymoon, first of all, as an alliteration, but also to solidify that this is a married couple, which I think is just a cool, subtle way to sneak that in there. A married couple who went on vacations, who were happy, and now your only saving grace is to preserve what's in those pictures by everything else that's about to follow. But yeah, I mean, it definitely you thought that he was wanting you. So I like that the first verse does set up that at one point this seemed happy, this seemed great. You thought that things were great. What is that face Heidi is making? Are we?
Oh, I'm reading. Boy, Google's gonna think I want a divorce. So I like thinking about the reasons why women do stay and those kinds of things. Like, women, you don't want to be alone either. And you don't want to change your whole, like, finances of a divorce are insanely brutal. Well, he's not perfect, but he loves me. But he doesn't really. In this story, he may have always wanted to be off the. Maybe he went through with the marriage because he felt like, oh, I don't want to leave her at the altar, or, you're afraid you're going to lose your friends. You're afraid, it's going to be a blight on the family, especially if divorce is not a very condoned thing, which it isn't in a lot of families.
So back again to Break Your Heart. Like, this is the opposite end of Break Your Heart.
And some, yeah, exactly. It's totally the opposite end, which is why I really want to know, did he talk to women? Did he we know he had infidelity in his relationship with his first wife. Come on, like that's a no-brainer. But so I wonder, like, how did he really get into the psyche of a woman for this? Because it definitely has that female perspective that is unusual for Stephen, because Stephen is very much like, again, call and answer, break your heart, those kinds of songs. I like that whole section in Break Your Heart. Call and answer rather.
I want to change my answer to that, by the way. This is not the opposite side of Break Your Heart. This is the opposite side of Intermittently.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I love that the end of Call and Answer, which is the most brilliant another brilliant Stephen singing moment. I'm warning you, don't ever do the crazy messed up things as you do. If you ever do, I promise you I'll be the first to crucify you. Now it's time to prove that you've come back here to rebuild.
Yeah.
That's more of Stephen. If that's very typical Stephen.
And you said Break Your Heart too, which is with that one I think what you say, what you think that I was gonna do, curl up and die
just because of you.
I'm not that weak.
I'm not that weak,
Yeah, so I'll say,
but this person is that weak. But and that's the sad thing.
Yeah, because again, I do think. Sorry, Betsy. Betsy, chime in.
Yeah, sorry.
We tend to get on this roll. If you,
No, that's okay. I like the roll. I kind of absorb things and then kind of, contribute later. I just have to process it. But yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. I wonder too, like you were saying, Heidi, I think he was, I don't know if when Stephen Page was writing this, if he was like currently being unfaithful, but it seems like that time period would sync up. So it kind of offers that perspective as well. But I don't know. This song kind of guts me sometimes because we've all been, or not we've all, but some of us have been in similar situations. So sometimes it's. But despite that, I keep listening to it over and over. Like I was listening it today just to kind of like refresh myself on it, and I must have listened to it like 20 times back to back while I was just puttering around the house, and it just doesn't get old. Even though it still burns when you hear it, it still doesn't get old. So,
no, I could. This is always. I think it's some of the most brilliant lyric writing, the most brilliant turning of phrases, use of double, triple, quadruple meanings. Like this is the type of writing that I just kind of go for. And even though it's super sad, and like I do want to know, like, does she eventually, like, how many hooks, how many times does she, get that hook back in, or how many times does he get his hooks into her and reel her back in? Like.
Well, at this point, I can tell you, I wanted to kind of save it to the end, but I actually know the person in this song, and I just talked to her recently prior to the recording. She's doing great. She left the next day. She's actually married to a Wall Street broker living up in the Upper East Side. Three
For
kids.
a second, I was like,
she actually has a lucrative painting business out of her loft. It's like they're doing awesome. Like they're doing.
They
really
have a
good.
summer home on the lake. And,
They have a summer home. Yeah. So she's doing.
Oh
good,
my gosh!
so.
I almost bought that hook. I was like, wait a minute! I did a deep dive and I couldn't buy. Like, no, wait, what? Oh my!
Do you guys want to talk a little bit about the demo version of this song?
All right,
tell me more about
moving right along.
It was just so. It was so much like emptier to me. It wasn't as, filled out as the other versions and everything. So I didn't listen to that one on repeat. I really like all the synthesizers and everything. And yeah, I feel I think even lyrically they added more to it for the album version. So
yeah. It feels kind of empty. Like it doesn't feel like they put all the instruments in. Like maybe it was what Steven had written and then brought in to the studio kind of demo version.
Kevin took it from there or something. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Or Dom was like, no, we need to make this more of an 80s electronica type thing. Oh, and then Tyler's like, well, let me use this. And then Kevin's like, I know the perfect sound to go in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very empty.
Yeah.
Although I do have to say, I love the fact. So it's on. If you ever want to listen to it, it's on Ladies' Room Volume 4.
Which I have.
Heidi,
yes.
Would you like to tell us what else, ironically, is on that album?
Hold your socks. Hold on.
Because I find it extremely interesting based on what we were talking about earlier, especially how this song is outdated. What is on the rest of that special thing for the people that were part of the Ladies' Room? I'm filling time as Heidi searches.
The medley. It's the medley. What's in the medley?
Well, there's the medley, but what else is on
Off the
there?
Hook demo version medley. This is Ladies' Room Volume 4.
So the other thing that's on there, that if you put it in your computer, it's not listed on there probably, but the other thing that's on there are phone messages, outgoing phone messages from the guys that you can download and put into your phone, your call and answer machine. I was like, okay, that is just too ironic considering they were just talking about that in the song. I totally forgot that
because I haven't been able to put it in my computer for some time because I don't have a CD drive anymore in my computer.
No one has a CD drive. No one really uses answering machines anymore. So, well, Jeff, what are we gonna rank this baby as?
I was originally gonna say torsos, but I don't even know if that's making it into the final cut. So, we got to go with kielbasa's on this one. So, on a scale of 0 to 5 kielbasa's.
Okay.
So we will start with Betsy. So yeah, you've heard the show, so we rank it on a scale of 0 to 5. 0 being, oh my god, I never want to hear this again. 5 being, this is an absolute masterpiece, and decimals are allowed.
Decimals. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So you could do like 3.6, 4.2. Yeah.
Yep.
Can I change this since you plan on playing the kielbasa's on drums on your next? Can we have kielbasa solos?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Kielbasa solo.
It's your show. I don't.
Very. I don't know. I think the fact that I listen to this on repeat and I resonate with it, and I love the wordplay and the everything about it, the music of it, the synthesizer, everything. I think it's a 5 for me. 5 kielbasa.
5 kielbasa. 5 kielbasa solos.
Oh, sorry, 5 kielbasa.
5 kielbasa solos.
That is totally something that Tyler would do.
Oh yeah,
Tyler, we know you listen. Come on the show.
I was gonna say something, but I'll hold back.
Just in case there is any haterade coming, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to say it's also a 5 for me, as if anyone's shocked or surprised by that. This is a clear 5. To me, this is the perfect song. It's everything I want in a song. It's dark.
The perfect
it's emotional.
song.
The perfect.
His name is Jeff. He likes to...
Lyrically, musically, I think it's some of Steve's best vocals. I love the depth of it. I love the emotional impact of it. This one, I seek it out. If it comes on, I'm not turning it off. Every time I hear it, I get goosebumps. It hits me. It works for me. So yeah, this one's 5 kielbasa solos for me. Heidi,
it's a 5. It's a 5. It's a 5 kielbasas from Heidi, Jeff, and Betsy. Tracy, better not bring haterade.
Tracy
anyway,
brought the haterade.
It is absolutely a 5 for me. Again, for all of the reasons Betsy mentioned, for all of the reasons Jeff mentioned, it is the pinnacle of quality vocal writing. It is 5 kielbasas for me. Absolutely.
All right, good show, everyone. Thanks for coming out.
Thanks for coming out, everybody.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week on Hee Haw. Oh wait, wrong show.
I'm not important.
Tracy, would you like to give your score? What's the trouble with Tracy?
What's the trouble with Tracy? He's gonna bring the hater rain.
The trouble with Tracy is everyone's going to be sending me haterade this week and hate emails, I think.
Do they really?
As they should.
As they should, you evil.
You should see some of the hate mail we get. It's nasty. Oh, no.
Can we send hate mail back to the hate mail sender?
Why aren't you sharing the hate mail with me?
Can we
I want to see the hate mail.
No, if people want to send us hate mail, I will read the hate mail live. I will read it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We totally do that. Yeah.
Oh, we should have an email session.
Oh, I would love to do an email session.
Mean tweets, except with email.
It's like or like text from Craig, only it's hater mail or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Exactly.
When I first came on the show, there were a good 3 or 4 months of just hate mail about me, and then it fizzled out.
And all to do with your looks, which is ironic for a podcast.
Right? We're audio. I don't even get it. Yeah.
I'm sorry about everything
So yes, I am gonna get the hater mail on this one because I will say this is my least favorite song on this album.
Wow.
You will never see a lower score from me than this song on this album. That being said, like, that says a lot about Maroon. That says, I think, more about Maroon than it does about what my rating on this song is going to be. I'm making it sound a lot darker than it's going to end up being.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not a big fan of electronica, that kind of 80s kind of electronica type sound. I like it, but I'm not a big fan of it. I like this song. I won't skip it if it comes on. And I would say it's almost the highest on that list. It almost makes it into the I will seek it out, but I'll be honest, I don't seek this song out. Which is why it goes a little bit lower than I think some people would guess with me. But because of that, I had to drop it a little bit when I was doing my rating this week. And listening to it this week, I still enjoy it. I will listen to it. This is not the song I will skip on this album. I won't skip any song on this album. I will listen to this album through and through. This is my least favorite song on the album, though. So for that reason, it comes out to a 3.95.
Wow, under a 4. I mean, it's a good.
Yes.
It's not a. It's a good score. It just still kind of hurts a little bit.
I know. Because some people love, a lot of people love this song. There's songs
three quarters of the podcast right now.
Heidi,
like you said, there are no bad songs in this album. Maroon is just a fantastic album.
This is I would go so far, and I have said before, I would go so far as to say this is almost the perfect album.
Yeah.
And later on when we get to it, I'm sure there will be a song that I may be tempted to switch out with this song, but I probably won't. I'll just add it on to the end and make it a longer album. Because I really do still like this song, and I think it's in a really good place on this album. It gives it a good space. It gives it a good kind of moment to breathe before going back into some of the harder songs. So I think it's great.
So Steven has performed this 10 times on his own.
That does not surprise me.
B&L's done it 36 times, but Stephen Page has done it 10. So there's a chance he might do it in February.
Has he done? He's done this on the Live at Home.
I think so. Yeah, private venue. Yeah, all of the lives at home.
So every time it says private venue,
he did it constantly.
Where?
April 25th, May 23rd, July 11th, August 29th. These must have been his live from homes.
Yeah, all
so
his
there's
private
a
venues
chance
that are listed on set list are
because
his live at homes.
if he likes to do it on his live from homes and he did it 10 times, then there's a chance he might have it on his set list for his tour. I'm gonna hope.
So what I am gonna plug this week for an appearance
is your mouth, because you voted it so low.
Ouch.
Sorry. I think I'm gonna have to get you some aloe vera for that burn.
That was a good burn. That was a good burn.
I love you though, right?
That burn felt good.
You're about to get a diploma because you just got schooled.
Hurt so bad.
Oh no. That hurt so good.
Oh, come on, baby, make it hurt so good. Sometimes Heidi's gonna make you feel bad, but it will hurt so good.
I was wondering if there was going to be a wood rhyme there, but then I remembered Stefan's not here tonight, so then I...
Right. We try to keep those on the down low.
But the appearance this week is Ed and Jean Crullen on the Ships and Dips doing a parody of Suncloud by Gordon Lightfoot. But they do all these alternate... Isn't it...
Sundown, better take care.
You'll find you've been creeping around my back stairs.
We should have a Gordon Lightfoot podcast. We can spend a whole year on the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
I couldn't spend a whole year on Edmund Fitzgerald.
That's what I thought. Sundown. Thank you. Yes. But they wrote Suncloud for whatever reason underneath the thing. So they're doing a parody of that where they just continue to put in other lyrics over and over and over again. It's actually hilarious. I've watched it 3 times this week because I was like, it just put me in a really good mood after listening to this song, which is, kind of not a feel good song.
What do you mean?
There it is.
You know what else I watched a lot this week in order to get myself in a good mood? I've been watching Get Back on Disney Plus, the Beatles documentary. If you've ever watched Let It Be, like, it has such a negative feel about the Beatles and about the last year of them being around and that 30 days. And Get Back, Peter Jackson did a great job of basically rewriting history of the Beatles and in a lot of ways making it more realistic. And I have to say, I really like it. That feel of that Peter did of kind of like letting Yoko off the hook.
Mm-hmm.
The whole time that I was watching it, I just kept going, "Oh, Yoko."
But you did there.
I can't watch it yet because I'm currently writing a 16-minute Beatles parody, and I think my head will explode if I have any more Beatles in my life.
Betsy got that I was going for next week's song, which is going next week. We're going to be discussing the B&L cover of "Oh, Yoko."
Huh?
Yeah.
But honestly, I did love how Yoko does not come off bad in that Get Back documentary.
Oh, Yoko.
So, Betsy, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Betsy.
Thank you, Betsy.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thank you. It was so much fun.
Is there anything that you would like to plug?
No, I don't have anything I'd like to plug. I just...
Tracy's mouth?
No. Tracy has his right to his opinion, however low it was.
He does.
It is his show. I mean,
it is, yeah.
It's not my show. I'm just here.
He pays the bills.
I have to kiss his butter. He's going to take the trailer back.
That is true.
He's not going to let you off the hook then.
Nope.
No, but did you guys see the Ships and Dips version of this song? It's worth watching.
Yeah, it's fun to watch them.
He's so skinny in it, but yeah, Steven is. But yeah.
He is
That's
so
the skinniest
skinny
I've ever seen him, but that's the only thing I'm plugging, I guess. I don't
know. Does anyone have anything that they would like to plug that I don't know that within like a month or might come out? Like
within a month?
Oh.
Not a month. You talking about me? I'm gonna be within a month.
That seems good.
I said June on the Kickstarter as the date. Now it's not gonna be that long. But yes, I do yeah, so my Kickstarter for Stabby Road, my horror movie album, was funded. So, and I received the money that was graciously given in my account, and I've already started paying off people for the cover art and for mixing because I'm having it professionally done. So, but yeah, so hopefully I'm going to be doing the live tweets for anyone who backed at 50 and above if they want to do the live tweets in January. But we're working on it right now. We have a big closing number that we're working on, but I'm hopefully within the next few months, I'm going to say I'm completely done or it's all written and ready to go. So just a few things.
Obviously, if at any point you would love to come back, we'd love to have you, Betsy.
All right.
Absolutely.
Just sign up for a song on the list. Let us know, and you're on. So,
sounds like a good time then. I shall do so.
It was a lot of fun to have you.
Well, we know for a good time call Tracy.
Oh.
Unless you're talking about Off the Hook.
I wanted to point out one thing. I got the vinyl for Christmas of Maroon, right?
Yes.
I noticed on the back. So they credited Ed Robertson and Jim Cregan with hand claps. Did you guys happen to see that?
For this song?
Yeah, well, no, it's for the whole back of the album. It's like, just like, I guess, cumulative hand claps were done by Ed and Jim.
Cumulative hand clap.
That's my band's name.
Yes. So if you listen close enough, you can tell a difference between Ed and Jim. Jim would have both hands.
Yeah, Jim has slightly softer hands, so his claps have a little more of a
delicate, long fingers. Yeah.
Ed has those rough,
guitar
farmer's hands. So
working man's hands. Yes.
more of an edge.
Yeah,
I would have
yeah.
said that
Lucky.
Jim would. I mean, he's always
Right.
plucking on that bass. Like I would have said, Jim has the rough hands.
It's all about
that's
that
true.
bass.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, all
No Tyler.
No cello.
No cello.
Thanks, that was fun. Don't forget, no regrets, except maybe one.
To celebrate joining Pantheon Podcasts, Rock Camp, the podcast, the official podcast of Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, is giving away a guitar signed by Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater, Marty Friedman, formerly of Megadeth, and legendary shredder Zakk Wylde, plus our rockstar counselors like Vinny Appice, Monty Pittman, and more. To enter to win, simply follow, rate, and review our podcast on your preferred platform, and that's all you have to do. For more information, go to rockcamp.com/podcast.